नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So how many of you know the topic for today evening discussion? Please raise your hand if you know the topic. Okay, at least there are 7-8 devotees who know the topic. What's the topic?
Devotee care.
Devotee care. Okay, that's it's a devotee care related topic. Yes, the exact topic that has been given to me at least is how devotee care transforms communities. So it's a devotee care only, but how devotee care can transform communities. Who chose the topic?
Baldevananda Prabhu.
Oh, he only chose the topic? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so it's fine. So yeah, we will discuss about how the devotee care transforms communities. Okay, so Prabhupada once he said, you will show your love for me by how you cooperate. How you cooperate. So therefore the first principle of devotee care. So I'll briefly speak about 4 important principles of devotee care. The first principle is to cooperate. C for cooperation. So now, what community is based on relationships amongst each other, and what I would like to ask you, tell me in one word, what hurts you in a relationship? What is that which hurts you in relationship? In one word, please answer. Yes. Dishonesty. Okay, so good. Dishonesty hurts us in a relationship. That's a good answer. Something else? Betrayal. Yeah, good. Thank you. Lack of communication. Good. Duplicity. Yeah, duplicity. That also person loses trust when there is duplicity. Yeah, duplicity hurts us.
Unmet expectations.
Unmet expectations. Unmet expectations. That's also hurts us. Good.
Ego.
Yes.
Arrogance.
Arrogance. Yes. Expectations. Of course, like there are always some expectations in a relationship, but like over expectations, unrealistic expectations. So when we say expectations, we are talking of undue over expectations. Fine, that's good. Jealousy, right? Ego, yes. Unappreciation, right? Unappreciation. Something else? Anger. Good. Greed. Trust or lack of trust? Okay, lack of trust. Mistrust, yes. Okay, fine.
Lack of compassion.
Lack of compassion. Lack of empathy. Yeah, good points. Yes. Envy. Right. Miscommunication. Right. So all these actually. So we'll discuss. See, as I said, the community is actually based on relationships, and And Prabhupada wanted us to, keep good relationships and continue to cooperate, because if community spirits mean we are serving together, basically, we are having good relationships. So there are 4 principles we will discuss which will help us boost our relationships or strengthen our relationships within a community, and that can have a very transforming effect in any community, even within a family. A family can be seen as also like a community can be seen as a bigger family. Community like a bigger family. So the principles we are going to talk will apply within a family and equally to a community. So there is a beautiful story. I'll share first one story from the 4th canto. There is a great personality whose name was Daksha. He was the father of Sati, and Sati was married to Lord Shiva. So when Daksha walked into the assembly, there was a sacrifice to be initiated, and all the devatas had come and they were seated. When Daksha walked into the assembly, he was such a powerful personality that all the devatas got up in respect, in adoration for him, in reverence for him. 2 personalities did not get up. They were Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Lord Brahma is the father, so the father doesn't have to get up when the sun comes, father is superior. So that's okay, that's no problem. But Lord Shiva is the son-in-law. So Daksha considered Lord Shiva to be his, like son-in-law is supposed to be in a subordinate position. So he expected my son-in-law should get up. And Lord Shiva did not get up. And therefore he felt that this behavior is very disrespectful to me. Lord Shiva he is insulting me in the assembly by not getting up. And he became very angry and started criticizing Lord Shiva then and there in the assembly of all the devotees, that you have all these ghostly beings as their associates, and you have acquired their quality only. They don't know how to respect anyone, and so do you, and so on and so forth. I made a big mistake in marrying my daughter to you, etc., etc. So then the followers of Lord Shiva, headed by Nandi, and then they were supporters of Daksha, and then they were supporters of Lord Shiva, and they were accusing, they were counter-accusing, then they were cursing, counter-cursing, and there was a fight, and there was a killing and counter-killing. A big scene, a big massacre was created over there in all that. And when that Lord Shiva went back, Sati asked him, Sati said, my dear husband, only if you would have gotten up. Just 1 minute, if you could have gotten up, then such a big scene would have been avoided. Just see that, you only had to got up. So Lord Shiva said, well, I never intended to disrespect your father. When he walked in, I did not even know when he walked in, because I was in a state of samadhi that point of time. I did not notice that a father walked in. So they were never mean to insult him, or I never meant to insult him, but he perceived it as insult. I was in a samadhi, I didn't even notice. Then Sati said, but why did you have to go into samadhi that point of time? You could have gone into samadhi at some other point of time. Lord Shiva said, my dear beautiful wife, Varanana, a beautiful lovely faced wife. Lord Shiva addresses Parvati at some time as Varanana. Varanana means beautiful face. So my dear beautiful wife, you don't understand. It is not that you decide when you go into samadhi. Suddenly the remembrance of the Lord came to me, and it was so intense that I just became oblivious to anything external. Therefore, it was not within my control. It is not that I went into samadhi by my choice, but that the intense remembrance of the Lord put me into samadhi. So, now here we learn something very important. Lord Shiva never meant to insult or disrespect Daksha, but he perceived it as being a sign of disrespect, or he saw some action, but did not see any intention behind that, and therefore he perceived it. Therefore, first thing, whenever in a relationship, we have to learn to question our perceptions. Does that person actually wants to betray me, or is it my perception? We need to question our perception. In my experience, in my travels, in my talk to devotees, 80% of the time, it is our perception, the way we perceive things. So therefore we are burdened by our own perceptions. So the other person may not have any intention to hurt us, but somehow that person did something, spoke something without any intention to hurt, but we may have felt hurted, we may have felt neglected, we may have felt abused, and we may have felt disrespected, and so on and so forth. Well, that may not be the intention. Therefore, the first, if we need to cooperate, and we said the first principle is cooperation. In order to cooperate, we need to clear our perceptions. In a family, in a community, many a times the wrong perceptions are formed. To give another example, a person looked out of his window toward the neighbor's home, and he said, "Oh, so dirty. The whole balcony is so dirty, the railing is so dirty, the furniture line is so dirty." And there was a servant at his home, and he was witnessing. He was witnessing that while he is actually saying that all these things are so dirty, the servant said, please wait. He removed his spectacles and just cleared the glasses, and then put it back and said, "Now look." I said, "Oh, it's not actually dirty. My spectacles were dirty." So actually his spectacles were dirty, and he was looking at everything in the neighbor's home is dirty. We perceive this world through our foggy consciousness. Many a time there is a lot to our perception, and there could be some reality, but there is more to our perception. So the first principle, if we have to cooperate, first we have to clear our perception. We have to clear our perception. And how do we clear our perception? By opening up a communication. So this is cooperation requires clearing our perceptions, because we perceive through our certain lenses which may not be clear. In order to clear our perception, we need to open up communication. And the principle of communication is, which also we need to learn how to communicate also. Speak without offending, and listen without defending. Because when we speak, we have already formed a judgment upon somebody. This person is disrespectful, this person is hard-hearted, this person speaks very harsh, etc., etc. We already form judgments. Therefore, speak without offending. Don't form judgments. Speak in a way that we do not offend anyone. And when we do something wrong, we defend ourselves. We don't want to accept. So we are judges for others and lawyers for ourselves. When someone else does something wrong, we judge them. But when we do something wrong, we defend ourselves. We are lawyers for ourselves. We just need to reverse it. We should be judges for ourselves. We should judge where did I go wrong, and be lawyers for others. Meaning, if others do something wrong, we should be lawyers saying, okay, probably this person doesn't mean to do wrong. Maybe just out of the circumstances, probably that point of time that person may have been disturbed, or something like that. Right? We can be loyal for others and judges for ourselves. Therefore, speak without offending and listen without defending. That is the way to communicate. And that is the way to clear our perceptions. And then cooperation is possible. So the first principle of relationships in a community, a caring community, is cooperation, which is only possible when we have the right perception. We need to clear the perception. The wrong perceptions are formed within a community often. We need to clear them, and for that we need to properly communicate. So this is the first point. Second important principle within a community, for it to be a caring community, is the principle of appreciation. The second principle, appreciation. So I remember there is a real incident. One wife, she approached her mentor and she said, last festival I was cooking. I cooked for 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, and we offered, and everyone enjoyed the feast, and she was cooking and decorating all that. We celebrated the festival. And everyone was happy, but my husband has no appreciation for it. So then the mentor said, okay, I'll talk to your husband. So when he talked to the husband, the mentor said, do you realize that your wife worked very hard last festival, 3 to 4 hours, she was cooking. Do you realize that? He said, yes. Do you appreciate her? He said, yes. Do you express it? He says, no, she shouldn't understand, and I'm appreciating. She should understand it. She cooked for 3 to 4 hours, and I ate so much. I gulped down everything. I ate so much, so that is a sign of appreciation. Because I ate so much, so that is a sign of appreciation. She should understand. So at times, we may assume, but we need to be more generous in the expression of our appreciation. More generous. The appreciation needs to be expressed. It needs to be expressed. So we need to be more generous. This is there in our scriptures actually. There are so many incidents of Lord Chaitanya, especially appreciating his devotees. The principle of appreciation. I remember I was traveling in a flight, in Indigo flight in India, and the captain suddenly announced, he said, ladies and gentlemen, I have an important announcement to make. And when the captain says, I have an important announcement to make, everyone must pay attention. That could be something serious also. So then he made an announcement. He said, our leading cabin crew member, Diana, she is leaving Indigo. Today is her last working day, and this is her last flight. She has given her 7 precious years to Indigo, and we are thankful to her. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in wishing her good luck for her future life and endeavors. And everyone applauded. Everyone clapped. First time saw the whole flight clapping. It was quite. And then I usually avoid looking at being a brahmachari at all the air hostesses unless there is something. But I said, let me see the response. Let me see what is the response of this applause. And I looked towards this leading cabin crew member, and I saw her eyes had become moist. When everyone applauded in appreciation, her eyes had become moist. So this appreciation touched her heart. Appreciation touched her heart. And I was just thinking, she's actually doing her job. The devotees and she's being paid for it. But there's so many devotees who render service voluntarily, out of love, with service attitude, out of selfless service attitude. So many devotees. How much more we should appreciate them. How much more we should appreciate them. So that was my one big takeaway lesson from that incident. Appreciation. So This is there as read in the scriptures. Scriptures are filled with appreciation. Lord Chaitanya goes to Haridas Thakur and Haridas Thakur tells him, "My Lord, please do not touch me. I'm born in a very low family. I'm very sinful." Lord tells him, he says, "Haridas, I am touching you for my purification. Your purified activities do not exist in me." Can you just imagine? Prabhu kahe tum asparshi atma pavitrite tumhara pavitra dharma nahi kamate. I do not have your purified activities. Your purified activities do not exist in me. I am touching you for my purification. Just imagine, the Lord is all pure. He is supremely pure. Everyone becomes pure by coming in touch with Him. But He appreciates His devotees by saying that I am touching you for my purification. There are so many incidents of the Lord appreciating His devotees. So, and even Prabhupada writes in the 4th canto Srimad Bhagavatam that I am hoping that one of my disciples will become so exalted that by the power of his devotional service I will be able to go back to Godhead. Prabhupada was also very appreciative. He would encourage his disciples to write, and he would so much appreciate. Yes, you are like as if they are doing even better than him. He would take great pleasure. So this appreciation, we should be more generous. What is the best gift you can give someone which doesn't cost anything? In the context, you can easily answer now.
Kind words.
Kind words, yeah, sweet words, appreciation. Similarly, give sweet words of appreciation. It doesn't cost anything. So therefore, in a community, and Prabhupada writes in the purport 7.5.12, he says, everyone should be friendly for the service of the Lord. Everyone should appreciate another service to the Lord and not be proud of one's own service. Many times we want to boast about our service. What have we done? What have we accomplished? And out of pride. But Prabhupada says, spiritual world means we do not take pride in our service, but look at someone else's service and appreciate that. So the nature of the Lord is, see, appreciation is very empowering. The appreciation is like there is a small spark and you fan it. It goes into fire. So that's how appreciation acts. So the nature of the Lord is, He sees a small good and magnifies it. Ishvara sabhava bhaktera analay aparad alpa seva bahu mane atma prayan prasad. So the nature of the Lord is alpa seva bahu mane. He considers small service to be big. He magnifies the small good and minimizes a big fault into small. So magnifies good and minimizes faults. That is the nature of the Lord. Therefore we should see even small service and appreciate that it is actually a big service. It's a big service. So, and if someone has made a big mistake, it's okay. Anyone can make a mistake. So that attitude of trying to appreciate small service, magnify it, and with the big fault, minimize it. There is a second principle of caring communities. So when we have that, when we act upon that principle, the community grows centered around this principle of devotee care. Third principle of devotee care is respect. Respect. So Vedic culture is actually a culture of respect. It is mentioned, just imagine how broad Vedic culture is. Grahe shatrum api praptam vishwastam akuto bhayam. Even if an enemy comes to your home, he should be given respect. He should not be fearful that that person will kill. When the enemy comes to your place, that person is shown respect. That person is not like you don't kill the enemy if that person comes to your home. Vishwastam akuto bhayam. He should be given awarded fearlessness. He should not fear. That's the Vedic culture, the culture of respect. So, and disrespect leads to disaster. There are two great epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana. The whole dynasty of Ravana was vanquished because of disrespect to Sita. And the whole Kaurava dynasty was vanquished because of disrespect to Draupadi. You see how the disrespect leads to disaster? So in personal relationship as well as in a community, we need to learn to be respectful. So now, important thing is, we may disagree or we may dislike. There are always disagreements, there is always some dislikes, but we cannot be disrespectful. As simple as that. We cannot be disrespectful. So I met one gentleman in my travels in North America. He was Mr. Peter Barwash, a very nice devotee. And he told me that he is going to soon celebrate Golden Jubilee, wedding anniversary. I said, the first wife? Yes, be the first wife. Maybe 50 years, probably Golden Jubilee, like 50 years of a married life, or no, with the first wife. I was surprised. I said, to find such a person or such a couple is as rare as to find a pure devotee on this planet. So I said, please tell me the secret. And then he said, we made a commitment to each other that we may disagree or we may dislike, but we will not shout at each other. And in America they call it yell. What's the term yell? I don't know, use the term here. That we made a commitment, we will not yell at each other. So when we yell at each other, that is a sign of disrespect. And when we speak, when we shout or yell at each other, we always speak harsh words also. The words are also harsh, right? And the tone is also harsh. So that's a sign of disrespect. They made a commitment that we may disagree, we may dislike, we have to mutually commit that we will not disrespect each other. And now what may happen, even if we mutually commit, we may breach the commitment. Because we have we are forced to act, Lord Arjuna says, we are forced to do certain things which we even don't want to at times. At times by the power of our previous habit, or we may lose temper, as people say, I lost the temper. We lose control over ourselves. So then we may speak in that way. So then what? Although we make commitment, but we are not able to stand by the commitment. Then they made another commitment that if we breach this commitment, we will remind each other that we are breaking the commitment. And then when reminded, we have to accept the fault immediately and say sorry. That I broke the commitment. We will now again remind each other, help each other to mutually keep our commitment of respectful dealings with each other. So now this is another beautiful pastime. Giriraj Swami Maharaj, he asked Prabhupada. So he says, Prabhupada, I have noticed when you talk about the scientists, you use the words nonsense, bluffer, cheater, rascal. Have you heard Prabhupada using this word? Those of you who hear Prabhupada's talks, very commonly Prabhupada uses these terms. And he also says sometimes that I will kick them in the face with my boots. It's too much. Yeah. So can we use such language when we meet or preach to scientists? This is Giriraj Maharaj asking. And Prabhupada said, no, you should speak like a gentleman. Now see, Prabhupada actually when he's speaking in his classes, he's not speaking directly to them. What he is condemning is their misconceptions, not the person. He is condemning their misconceptions in life, not the person. Because when he was dealing with the Mayavadi, Prabhupada stayed with one impersonalist whose philosophy Prabhupada always condemned, Dr. Mishra. And Prabhupada was so cordial in his dealing that once Dr. Mishra fell sick, and Prabhupada cooked for him and nursed him back to good health. You see how the dealings are so respectful. He was always cordial. So therefore we may disagree, we may dislike somebody or the way the person acting at that point of time, but we should never be disrespectful. We have to work upon this, because disrespect causes disaster. It breaks the relationship, it breaks the heart. It causes disaster in individual life as well as in community. So there's a third principle of caring communities, is the principle of respect. Principle of respect. And the fourth principle is the principle of empathy. Empathy, as some of you described, that someone lack of concern, that is called indifference, and so on and so forth. So empathy means okay, let me ask you, what is meant by empathy? Can someone define empathy for me? Yes.
When you stand in someone else's feet, you try to look at yourself.
Okay, you stand in someone else's feet and look at yourself, fine. Something else? Empathy?
You understand how they feel, what they're going through.
Oh, you try to feel what they're going through. Yeah. Good. So there's a word called sympathy, which is more, earlier it was used more commonly, sympathy. Sympathy would mean, okay, I kind of understand what you're going through. I understand your pain. That was sympathy. But empathy is, I feel your pain. That's the quality of paradukha dukhi, Vaishnava quality. Paradukha dukhi, that I feel the pain of others. That's the quality of empathy. So as in a Vaishnava community, whenever there is someone undergoing some kind of struggle, challenges, and so on and so forth, there should be devotees who should be empathetic towards them and try to share their pain. So this is a great quality. It has been seen sometimes that some devotees are undergoing difficulty, and some people think it is actually their karma. They are undergoing the difficulty because of their karma. And there was one person who actually said this to me. He said, people are undergoing difficulties because of their karma, and why should we interfere with someone's karma? I said, do you know there is a prayer by Vasudev Dutt Thakur in Chaitanya Charitamrita? He prayed that, my Lord, please give me karma of all living entities. I will suffer. You please relieve them from the suffering. He has prayed to take the karma of all living entities. At least we can try to help somebody, even if there is karma, that person's karma, we can at least be, try to appease and try to ease out the situation for somebody. We may not be able to take the karma of even one person. He prayed to take the karma of all the living entities. We can't imagine. I remember I was once traveling in Indian Railways, and it was a 24-hour journey, and I had my reservation, and my another friend was traveling. So both of us were traveling together, and we had our reservation, the sleeper. The long trains have the sleeper class. So we were traveling. How many of you have seen the trains? First of all, the sleeper coach. There are 3 tiers, and then you sleep on all that. And there was an elderly couple who came, and they said, "Can we sit for some time?" Okay, please sit. Like for sitting, you can one seat used for sleeping. 3 or even 4 people, and 5 people can sit during the day. So fine, please sit. And when the evening came, we asked, "Where are you going?" He said, "We are going there." Oh my God, this is another, like the whole night. What are we going to do at night? They had no reservation, the elderly couple. And they said, "No, we will just, sleep down somewhere. We have no reservation. We have to go in emergency." So I started discussing, with my friend. I said, "The elderly couple, and then they have no seat to sleep." And then I was just remembering this prayer of Vasudeva Thakur. And I was contemplating, I was thinking, maybe it is their karma, that they don't have a bed to sleep. They must have caused someone a sleepless night. And now they are and it's coming back to them. They don't have a sleepless night. So, but then I said, but Vasudeva Thakur prayed to take the karma of all living entities, and at least maybe we can sleep together on one seat and they can sleep on one seat. I proposed to my friend. So we can. I said, I was just thinking that do we have the courage to take the karma of one person for one act? Right? They have caused. I said, by one karma that is coming back sleepless night. Do we have the heart to take and say, okay, you take my seat, I will sleep, or I will spend a sleepless night? I said, very difficult, So I was appreciating the prayer of Vasudeva Thakur, thinking that I can't even take one person's one karma. One person, one time karma I can't take. But then I said, we can at least share, we can share. So then I proposed to him, I said, so let's sleep on one seat and give one seat to them. Elderly couple. So then we told, I said, look, you're an elderly couple, we both are friends, we just sleep together, you can sleep together. And they were so grateful, so thankful, an elderly couple. And we, slept somehow. It was not so comfortable, but nevertheless. But I got the realization how difficult it is to take upon one living entity. While Vasudeva Thakur meant what was empathy in his heart. He meant that let me take upon karma of all living entities. And when Lord Chaitanya heard that, just imagine the Lord began crying. What can make the Supreme Lord cry? What can make him cry? Just imagine. His prayer was so genuine, Vasudeva Thakur, his empathy was so deep that the Lord began crying. So therefore, when other devotees are in pain, we should try to extend ourselves to appease, it may be their karma, to appease that at least. And not philosophize that it is their karma, they should suffer, and so on, so forth. So, that's the principle of empathy. And we see, many times when I talk about that, many devotees say, they are undergoing their own difficulties, their own challenges, their own struggles. It's very difficult to extend ourselves to appease someone else's situation. हमारे नैया डूब रहा है, दूसरे को क्या बचाए? Something like that. We are ourselves in crisis. So Parikshit teaches this another important principle. Maharaj Parikshit is going to die in 7 days. Just imagine, he's going to die in 7 days. It is a serious crisis, is it not? If any one of you is told by the doctor you have 1 week to live, it is a serious crisis in life. Parikshit is facing his own life crisis, but most of his questions he is asking are for the sake of others. He's asking, please tell me how these living entities, sinful living entities, in the hellish conditions, how can they be delivered? Most of the questions he asks is for others' benefit. So while he is undergoing his own crisis, he is concerned. He extends himself to help others. And that is the way to deal with our crisis. So while we are struggling, we have our own challenges, we see someone is undergoing a difficult, greater challenge. Let's stretch ourselves to help that person out. Krishna will help us. So this is very important principle. In a community, we have to, if it's okay if we are not able to go in someone's celebration. We actually never miss the celebration. But it's okay if we are not able to go in some celebration, but when someone is in pain, we must go and share the pain. That is imperative. That is more important. If there's a joyous occasion, fine, I'm a little busy and so on and so forth. But if there is some occasion where they have undergone some crisis, someone is hospitalized, some tragedy has taken place, you must go there. You must go there. If we are not able to share the joy, you must share the sorrow, who shares the sorrow. And that is the principle of empathy. So these four principles that we discussed today, the principle of cooperation, which requires clearing our perceptions. Second, the principle of appreciation. The third,
Respect.
principle of respect. The principle of appreciation, magnify the good, minimize the fault. Principle of respect. Remember, Vedic culture is culture of respect. Disrespect leads to disaster. And the principle of empathy, which is one of the core Vaishnava virtue. We feel the pain of others, and while we are undergoing our own struggles and challenges, we extend to help out others. See someone as a greater difficulty, greater challenge, and then we ourselves will be helped by the Lord. So these four principles, acronym to the word care: cooperation, appreciation, respect, and empathy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any reflections, any thoughts, any questions, any comments, any concerns, any complaints? Okay, yes, there are a few hands. Shamgovind Prabhu, then yourself.
Thank you, Prabhu. Really wonderful class, wonderful topic. So, within a community, sometimes people may say that sounds like very utopian. Because
Okay.
sometimes, just like how Arjun, Krishna tried to go as a peace messenger,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately he tried to find some other solution, but Arjun had to go to war, and he had to act. I'm not saying we should go to war, but sometimes, we have to do something. We have to address something. So, can you give some advice on how we can approach something that might be something we need to address that is a difficult scenario to deal with?
Example?
Say, for example, if someone has done something wrong, and of course, we may try to look inwards, have I misperceived it? But if it keeps happening and, we're either physically, mentally, emotionally hurt by that, what is a good way to address that?
Okay, good point. See, first of all, yes, we clear our perceptions, and if our perception is right, that the person somehow has this, is speaking to several devotees in the community, which is hurting the devotees, is creating difficulty, for others, many others, not just for ourselves. Then we try to see, okay, we open up a communication and see that we appreciate that you are coming as a part of community, you are doing certain services. But when you speak like this or you act like this, it is actually disturbing the members of community. So I want to understand the reason why you do the way you do. One actual example, there was one person who would speak in such a way that many people would feel offended. And he was given feedback that don't speak like this, don't speak like this is actually, many people are feeling offended. He said, okay, sorry, I'll try not to speak like that. But again he would speak. And then what happened? Then people thought that, look, he said, we gave a feedback, he took the feedback, but again he's doing the same thing. That means he's a hypocrite. This is how we consider it. But when you will ask that, okay, now can you please tell that why you do like this? Sometimes we may not ask this question, which is very important. We sit with a person, again, we open up a communication without blaming the person, without offending, and say, can you please tell that why you act? And last time you said you won't, and still you are acting. This person said, before coming here, I was dealing with the labor class. For 10 years, I had to get the work done, so my standard normal way of speaking was to shout at them. In India, to get the work done from the labor, it's a very thankless job, and you have to continuously shout. So his normal way of speaking had become like a shouting mode. So he had acquired that strong conditioning. He didn't want to, but it would just happen. Just happen. Just happen. So just again, we ask the question why? Why do you do things? And we'll get to know a deeper reason. Probably, that person, upbringing could be the reason. He had so much, traumas in the childhood, which comes out, etc., etc. When we compassionately try to find out why, and help the person open up, and sometimes they don't want to open up because that itself is traumatic. So we need to see also, that we need to really have a compassionate approach, with the understanding that actually all souls have inherent good in them. Whatever way they may be behaving is a covering, thin or thick, whatever. It's a superficial covering. So having the deep understanding that ultimately deep within everyone is a good person, and the habits and the way we behave is all outer covering, and try to find out the deeper reason, and help that person overcome it. But while we are helping, others are getting disturbed, so then we have to tell the person, look, because this behavior is disturbing others, so we need to, at times have some protocols, and though we don't want to, we have to impose certain restrictions. So kind of, we say that we love you, we respect you, but please understand that as in order to have some norms within a community, some protocols, some standard behavior, if someone does like this, we need to have some restrictions. So we are doing these restrictions not out of any kind of grudge towards you. We really appreciate the way we do the things. I remember once Radhanath Maharaj shared this actual incident. He said, once I misbehaved very badly, and my father told me, my dear son, I am going to punish you now. But this punishment is also going to hurt me. So, but as a father, it's my duty to punish you. So first he told him that now I'm going to punish you. This is out of my concern for you, and it's also going to hurt me. But I must do this as a duty. And then it was easy for him to take the punishment. Right? So therefore, like that. So whatever we do, we may have to deal with the person, we may have to impose the restriction, even to the extent that you cannot come in any of the public programs, you can practice, you can come to the center at certain timing, but not at this timing, etc., etc. Whatever way we need to deal with the person to protect the overall community, we may have to deal with it. But internally, we are very kind and compassionate person. So there is a balance. On a personal note, we should be really not seeing that person. We will see the person in a different light internally, with that understanding, and externally deal with the situation as appropriate. Does that help? Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yes.
You said, thank you for the class.
Hare Krishna.
You mentioned that in appreciation we should magnify
the good
and minimize the faults or
Yes.
mistakes.
Yes.
In a community, if somebody makes a mistake and we minimize that fault or we minimize it, doesn't it set a bad standard for everybody else that they made this mistake? Oh, they didn't have such a big repercussion. That means it's not such a big deal. It's okay if I do it.
Okay, a good point. What's your name?
Okay, sure, Sindhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Good point. So yes. So first of all, this verse applies to on a personal front. At a personal front, at the first level, that if someone has somehow done something on a personal front, if someone has committed offense to the Lord, mistake, incidentally, the Lord overlooks it. So yes, again we have to go into that. Okay, this person has done some mistake. So the person is good. It happened out of habit, and so on and so forth. Again, we could minimize it internally, but we have to deal and see that there are two within a community. We have to deal at two levels: at a personal level, and see that that person, deal with that person in such a way so that we are having the Vaishnava virtue of kindness, care, compassion. Right? We are considerate toward that. But at the same time, while we consider it, we have to see at the community level that that we have to operate by certain sacred principles. We have to maintain the sanctity of behavior within a community, and therefore, at that level, we may have to deal slightly differently externally, but while internally having that virtue. And when we internally have that virtue, dealing externally becomes easy for us, and in the right frame of mind. So, Karl Krishna Das, he left, right? He was with Lord Chaitanya, he made a grave mistake. He was allured by the Bhattahari women, and when Lord Chaitanya came back, Lord Chaitanya said, nothing doing, you can do whatever you want. Right? So for me, you are relieved now. So Lord Chaitanya wanted to uphold certain sacred principle that you can't be serving me and all that. But the devotees, through his devotees, again the Lord, through his devotees showed a lot of kindness to him. The devotees, on a personal level, they met him. So while they respected Lord's decision, no, you cannot stay here in this community. Right? So he was kind of ostracized by the Lord, externally to maintain the sanctity. But the devotees approached him on a personal front and assured him that's okay, the Lord may have to do it, but internally is very merciful. So what we want to do is, you should go to Navadvip and give the message of Lord arrival and tell everyone about how the Lord toured South India, what all he did do. So they engaged him in a different service. And what happened? Because of doing that service, now he was no longer in Jagannath Puri in the station of the Lord, but the devotees engaged him in a different way. And by doing that service to devotees, he received a lot of their blessings. And because of that blessings, he again became strong in his Krishna consciousness. So we have to just see, Prabhupada was very sensitive. We cannot afford to lose somebody. What happens in an institute, in order to maintain the sanctity of the community, we may be harsh to individual in a way that person leaves Krishna consciousness. Then we are the losers. So therefore, and on a personal front, we should be very caring, compassionate. Make sure that person continues bhakti in a way that he continues to make his spiritual progress and continue to practice, while we also preserve the sanctity of the community. So these two things need to be very properly balanced. Thank you for your great question. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you for your class. I think it's come at a really wonderful time because we have a congregation meeting on Friday.
Okay.
We've done a devotee care survey
Okay.
to understand the sentiment of our devotees, how they're feeling about different aspects of the center, so we can continue to be a warm, loving community like you mentioned at the beginning. So my question is, as advice for all of us in the congregation who should come to the meeting Friday, 7 to 9, everybody, put in your diaries. How the people that give feedback, how can we remind ourselves to give feedback in a way that's not offending anybody, and those that are listening, and then the power of making change, they're listening without defending. Because this will be quite important to make sure that we remind ourselves we're all here for the same goal, which is to keep this Bhakti Yoga Center thriving, to continue the love, to nurture these relationships, and we're all walking each other home at the end of the day, back to Godhead, and the meeting is about that and nothing personal towards anybody.
Okay, great. What's the good name?
Krishna.
Oh. Krishna is the name of Draupadi, also of Kalindi. Yamuna's name is also Krishna. She's black in complexion. Yeah, so Draupadi's name is also Krishna. Krishna. It's big, the capital A at the end, basically. So there is Krishna and Krishna. Krishna is the feminine word for Krishna. So that's the in Sanskrit is spelled slightly different. Good, great. Are you heading or involved in the devotee care?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I would like to ask some of you Okay, so the question basically is how do we speak without offending and how do we listen without defending? Because we are going to be meeting and we are going to ask in the community, express yourself. So, and our expression should be following this protocol. So, can someone would like to share how do you express yourself without offending and how do you listen without offending? Yes.
So you'd appreciate and give gratitude to the service that you're about to just make a comment on, but in a proactive way. So say it in a positive way, so you'd compliment how well it's gone all this time, but how could, then ask them in a polite way, how could maybe we could do it in this way if you think it's...
Okay, what's the good name?
Sri Devi Gopi.
Sri Devi Gopi. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, so the one good principle is it should be practiced from the heart. See, each devotee may have shortcomings, faults, and all that. First, appreciate something good that a person has done. And then rather than saying that you did something wrong, say there is a room for improvement. This is a word we use, a positive word. So we appreciate your enthusiasm to serve prasadam, but there is a room for improvement. Please do not shout right, while serving prasadam and so on and so forth. So this is something which will actually improve your service and overall. But again, say something in appreciation. So start with something positive, in between give some room for improvement, and again say something positive. So it's like a sandwich model. But it should be done from the heart. We should really appreciate. If it's not, otherwise it will sound artificial. The appreciation will sound artificial. We should genuinely appreciate that. I really appreciate this service we have been doing. We have been doing on such a consistent basis for so many years. We really value that. But there is some room for improvement, and so again end with something a positive note. So that is one way to speak without offending. Something else? Okay, yes. You have the answer?
Remove the ego and not take things personally. When people give suggestions or even a response, it's not a personal attack to you or your character or position. It's more towards the service and a way of improving the service.
Right,
it's towards
right.
the act, not the person.
Right. So this is not personal. This is just for the sake of service, right? So do not take it that on a personal front. Do not take it on a personal level. Yes, that's good. That disclaimer is also very important. Yes. Something else? Yes.
If somebody says, this is, I don't know the situation, but if there's a problem with this, how, we need to, let's all look at a way of improving it. If you want to give an idea, but you don't want to make it look like my idea, only mine, and nobody else is tough, take it, you could ask this, how about if we do this? What do you feel? How do you feel about it? What do you think about it? How do you deal with it? Give them an opportunity of giving their options, and they feel like included in an idea, rather than just saying, sorry, that's the way.
Yeah. So rather than telling do this, you say that we need some, this is how people are getting affected, we need to improve this. Can you suggest that how can we improve this? Can you suggest how can you improve this? You can improve your service, or you can avoid such a situation. So we ask that person. When that person, we are involving him in the decision making, and then it's easy for that person to follow. So these are some of the principles basically. When we say you have to do this, the person says, no, I have no time. You can only do this. Right? Again, defensive mode. So when the person says, okay, can we have a discussion that what can be done? So like that. So in a discussion, when that person comes up on his own or on her own, then it's easy for that person to follow. So yes, it's important to involve the devotee rather than telling them that you do this. So these are some good suggestions we are getting. Great. I am learning so much from all of you. Yes.
Sorry,
What do you do if someone's not cooperating?
This is a hard question now. Okay, see, let me ask. We have a wealth of wisdom with the devotees over here. So please share. What do you do if someone is not cooperating? Yes.
Maybe whoever is giving them or telling them how to say it in a nice way, maybe get someone that has authority and get someone that has the relationship with them as well to perhaps maybe say it.
Okay. Do we have the relationship? It's a fact actually. If someone is not cooperating and we need to give the feedback, suppose, just like we thought feedback should be given this way, we appreciate and all that, but still if a person, so are we the right person? Do we have a relationship with the person to give feedback also? It's important to see that. That's the one. There will be many considerations. Let's see what are the different ways. Someone is not cooperating. So what's the name, Prabhu?
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
So you are saying that are we the right person to address it, or
Possibly.
probably someone else? Do we have the relationship? Is this the right time to address it? Also, at times, the time may not be appropriate. Is this the right place or circumstance to address it? So we have to carefully consider whenever thing needs to be addressed. I'm the right person. Is this the right time? Is this the right circumstance? Or let this. The festival is coming. Let that go away. We'll talk about this. Not such an urgent matter. Also, this has been going for a long time. Let's postpone for some time till this time goes away. Then we can address it. So we have to consider all this: who the right person, who the right time, under what circumstances. That those considerations do apply. One thought. Yes.
I use this all the time.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't want to cooperate and there's 2 services to be done,
Uh,
do you want to do this or this? But both jobs needs to be done, so you make them feel like you give them a choice.
okay.
So which one do you like better? Then that's fine, you can do this one. Thank you so much, like that.
Okay. Someone is not cooperating in one service, then you give an option to other service.
Yes, give them a choice.
Give them a choice. Okay. So if choice is available in certain circumstances, but if choice is not available, then it's a different story. Fine, that's good point. Something else, someone is not cooperating.
So if they find...
Okay, before, this is very generic. Would you like to give an example to be more specific? so that our solution. Otherwise, you will be... See, what will happen is, if we do not have the right example, our solution may be, everywhere, and it may not be focused. So if you give some example, that will help you to get a good.
I don't want to.
You have to have the courage. Yeah, you have to have the courage, because then that's also, when we do not have the courage to address it, then the problems are not resolved. And so again, we have to learn to address it without, in a non-blaming, in a non-complaining way. And we don't want to blame someone for that you are not cooperating, and so on and so forth. And in a non-blaming and non-complaining way, we can address the situation. Okay, so then if you describe a particular situation of non-cooperation, then we can address it better. I leave up to you, or you could personally talk to.
It's a general, like a general.
But there is, okay, give a general example. So whatever, like you are saying, someone is not cooperating, it's a general. Give any general example of non-cooperation. General example which you want to be addressed. Unless there is an example, we really will not know what exactly you are asking.
Actually, sorry, Prabhu.
Yeah.
She used to face regularly for making garlands. When she put a service, nobody come forward to take a service and do it.
Okay.
Yeah, but we will have a lot of people in the garland service, but nobody come forward to take the service.
That would be a good one.
That will be good one. So once again, she would put up this is a service, we need some volunteers to make garlands,
Yeah.
and no one would come to volunteer for that?
Yeah.
It's the same people every time making the garland.
Oh, okay, the same people would do, but
Even though there's
no.
many people in the group, nobody would volunteer at the same
Even there are many people, but they're not volunteering to make garlands. So this is an example of non-cooperation. Okay, okay. So yeah, now I would like to ask some of you, how can you inspire the community devotees to volunteer for garland making service? Yes, Krishna.
Sometimes it's not giving somebody an option, and it's like, because if you, sometimes I feel like if you ask people, nobody's going to put their hand up. But if you go to somebody directly saying, hey, we really appreciate your service, there's nobody else that can do it, we really appreciate it, we can help you, and always kind of corner them into doing it. They're more likely to say yes, because now it's not like, oh, there's 10 people that could say yes, and, I've just, diluted
So
number.
that means you can just approach someone personally?
Yeah.
Yeah, approach someone personally and say, we really need your help. We really need your help, and I think you can really do the service well.
You can butter them up.
Yeah. Okay, so basically personal approach to that. And I met one girl in Poland. So she shared some example. It's a good lesson we can learn. So a young Polish girl, I was asking that what inspires you to serve? A positive experience of care. She said she volunteered to serve in the kitchen. And kitchen is not an easy department. The kitchen is a heavy department. So she said she went to volunteer to serve in the kitchen, and she somehow, once fell sick, and she, while her volunteering for the service, it was like a long festival, and she said she will be part of the kitchen, so it was ongoing on several days. And one particular day she fell sick, and the kitchen in charge, who was leading the service, he really cared for that girl, making special diet and the medicine and personal care. And she said, and when she was describing, she said, no, every year I go to serve, I want to serve with that person. And she was crying tears while describing that. She felt so much touched by. So, we really appreciate the devotees and form personal relationship, and we should appreciate in a way that you are actually doing a great favor to me by serving. You are doing such a great favor to me. I can't sufficiently repay your debt, kind of, although it's not a personal favor you are taking, but if you take the ownership, you make them feel that it is their great favor to you as a person, and you reciprocate with them as if they are helping you as a person. You reciprocate and develop those personal relationships, and they should feel like make it service exciting, make it innovative, give them, at times you may ask them, okay, we can improve, how do you think we can improve the service? They could, in the garland making, they could innovate the things, etc. also. So like that, so all those things, think of ways and means of increasing your appreciation for them, also giving the room for innovation, make it exciting. And on a personal level, have a team who will feel that they want to work with you. That is important actually, rather than service, is a fact actually. It is said it is not the impersonal government that rules, it is the person that rules. I was saying that actually the success of BJP is not, no one says the BJP government, it's the Modi's government. Right? No one says the BJP's government. The government is impersonal, but the Modi's government, right? A person is involved. So, personally, we have a personal philosophy. I'm just giving one example. I'm not into politics much. Not at all, rather, not to speak of much. I'm not into politics. But giving one example of person, they should want to work with you, whatever service it is. That is the kind of relationship you develop as a person. Fine? That may help you. What's your good name? Akashni? Akarshini Radha. Okay, Akarshini, you have to direct.
She does.
Yes, like that. Okay, good. You're already doing it. but we always have a scope for improvement. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, so how we are doing on the time? I think already we are over time. So we will conclude over here. Thank you, Shyam Govind Prabhu. Thank you, Radhakant Prabhu. Thank you for all of you for giving me this precious opportunity of your Sangha this evening. An opportunity to share something in relation to devotee care. Jai Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.